Hi Project 52ers, I hope you're having an awesome week. Welcome to week 14 of our savings challenge. So for the adults playing along, it's time to save $39. And how good is it that it's getting easier each week? So you should now have $637 and be on track to your year end of $1,378. And for the kids, it's time to save $1.40 and they should now have over $10. They should have $10.50 saved. And I love hearing about all your kids and how they're getting excited doing it each week, so keep that coming. We love hearing that. And by the end of the year, they should have $137.80. So this week's wealth tip is all around something that I see people often underestimate what they spend, and that's on presents. So the average family actually spends about 4% of their wage on presents. So that's the average that we work with. So if, between husband and wife, as an example, they were earning $1,500 a week between them after tax, then for the year, that would mean that the annual budget is about $3,000 for the year. What I find, though, is that people will often, when they first come with their budgets, it'll be, I think we spend $1,000 a year. And often it's an area that they miscalculate. And what happens is when we have a budget that's not realistic, that doesn't allow enough for things like presents, it means that when it falls over and it doesn't work, people, get upset and throw it all in. So it's a bit like, if you're on a diet, if you have a big blowout with your food, just go, well, it's too hard. You can't be on a 1,200 calorie diet forever. It's not realistic. And when you do get that blowout, you feel like, you failed. And so the same thing can be happening if we don't set a realistic budget. And one of the areas that I noticed is in this presence area. So I'm just going to go through some tips now on how we firstly make sure that we have how do we make sure that we don't overspend on presents, or that we're spending enough and we don't fall short. So one area is we actually have a separate present account. We have a separate bank account or an offset account that is for presents. We have a set amount of money each week that goes into there. So in the case of the $3,000 one, we could have $57 or close enough to $60 per week that would go into that account for presents. And that would be for all presents. So I often hear some, mums talk to me about the cost of school gifts for parties and things like that. That would be for this as well. So that goes into that account for the present. The other thing is to talk about having a spending limit for each person. So, do you spend $50 for birthdays and $100 for Christmas, as an example? So putting a limit really helps. And that includes, if you've got a partner, it includes on them as well. So one area I'll often find is people, will have budgets, but then for their partners, I'll spend, $500, and all of a sudden their budget's blown out massively. And so that's something just to be conscious of, is not just to have spending limits for other people you're buying for, but also for your partner as well. And the other thing is just, things like Secret Santa can be great, getting creative, but just often talking to your family and friends about, that you're not doing presents this year. We're saving for a house, or we're saving, for, renovations, and we're not doing presents. I had one lady recently who was buying for like 20 people. And, can sometimes just gets a bit silly where you're buying a present for them because they're buying one for you. And so, I think sometimes just having that honest conversation to say, we're not going to be buying presents this year. And so that can often be a sense of relief for them as well, because they might feel obligation if you're buying for them to have to buy for you. There's some tips on presents. So definitely those help you, but also listing the people that you're buying for. Who do you actually buy for, and putting a budget for each one is crucial. Once you've got that figure, then divide it by 52, put that amount into a separate bank account or a separate offset account, and that's the money that you spend for presents. So I hope you found that helpful. And as always, if you've got any questions, suggestions or comments, don't hesitate to hit us up in the Project 52 group. I'd love to know some ways that you've been able to save money on presents or got creative with presents. We'd love to hear from you in the Project 52 group. And as always, if you've got any questions or anything you'd like to ask me personally, you're more than welcome to email me at del@fireflywealth.com.au. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week, and I look forward to catching you in the Project 52 group.